Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that's not just fascinating, but also incredibly important in our digital age: cache poisoning. Now, I know what you might be thinking: cache poisoning? That sounds like something that happens in a kitchen. But trust me, it's way more sinister than that. So, let's break it down. Cache poisoning is a cybersecurity attack that targets cache storage systems to distribute malicious data to users. Caches are like the fast lanes of the internet, storing temporary copies of data for quick access. You can find them in various parts of the internet infrastructure, like DNS servers and web servers.
Wait. So when you say caches, are we talking about those little memory things in our computers? Or is it something different?
Great question. So think of caches as a way to speed things up. Just like how a chef preps ingredients ahead of time to whip up a meal faster, caches store data so that when you request it, it's ready to go. But when an attacker poisons a cache, they can alter the data users receive. This means they can redirect you to fraudulent websites, inject malware, or even steal personal information. It's like if that chef decided to swap out the fresh ingredients for something rotten. Yikes.
Oh wow, that's super scary. So, how does this actually happen? I mean, do hackers just sneak in and mess with the data?
Exactly. One common method is DNS cache poisoning. This targets the domain name system, which is like the internet's phone book, translating domain names into IP addresses. Attackers inject false DNS information into a resolver's cache, redirecting users to malicious sites. It exploits the trust relationship between clients and DNS servers. Imagine if someone gave you a fake phone number for a restaurant, you'd end up at a totally different place.
That's a wild analogy. So if I'm understanding this right, it's like a game of telephone gone wrong, right?
Spot on. And it gets even trickier with web cache poisoning. This involves manipulating the caching mechanism of web applications to serve malicious content. Attackers exploit vulnerabilities in how applications handle HTTP requests and responses. So, if you're requesting a resource, you might end up with poisoned content instead. It's like ordering a pizza and getting a box full of spiders instead.
Ew, spiders. That's a nightmare. So what are the risks associated with this? I mean, it sounds like it could really mess things up.
Absolutely. One major risk is malware infection. Redirecting users to malicious sites can lead to widespread malware infections, compromising devices, and potentially creating botnets. Then there's data. Theft attackers can phish for sensitive information, leading to identity theft and financial loss. And let's not forget about interference with security updates. Users might be redirected away from legitimate update sites, leaving them vulnerable.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. So, how do we protect ourselves from this? Is there a superhero for cache poisoning?
I love that idea. While we don't have superheroes, we do have some solid prevention strategies. For instance, deploying DNS security extensions or DNSSE adds a layer of security to DNS. It verifies the authenticity of response data to prevent falsified information from being cached. Think of it as a bouncer at a club, checking IDs to make sure only the right people get in.
Oh, that makes sense. So, what else can we do?
Well, using end-to-end encryption, like HTTPS, secures communication between users and websites, making it harder for attackers to intercept or alter information. And deploying DNS spoofing detection tools can help monitor DNS traffic for suspicious patterns. It's like having a security camera watching for any shady behavior.
I can see how that would be super helpful. But what if someone still manages to get through?
Great point. That's where cache key normalization comes in. Standardizing the processing of HTTP requests limits the exploitation of caching mechanisms. Plus, properly configuring cache control headers can reduce the risk of poisoning by controlling how responses are cached. And validating user input ensures that only valid data is accepted, preventing attackers from injecting malicious content.
Wow, it's like a whole fortress of protection. But what about those web application firewalls?
Exactly. Using web application firewalls, or WAFs, acts as a gatekeeper to filter out malicious requests. They provide comprehensive protection against web cache poisoning and other attacks. Companies like Imperva offer WAFs that can help keep your applications, APIs, and microservices safe.
That's so cool. It's like having a digital bodyguard. So, to wrap it up, cache poisoning is a serious threat, but with the right strategies, we can defend ourselves.
Absolutely! And remember, staying informed and proactive is key in this ever-evolving digital landscape. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe out there.